This is Money Talks.
Hi, my name is Ibukun Oyedeji, President CFA Society Nigeria. Join me and a host of other financial industry practitioners for Money Talks with CFA Society Nigeria.
Money Talks with CFA Society Nigeria. Let's talk about money. Hello everyone and welcome to Money Talks. Money Talks is brought to you by CFA Society Nigeria and it's a financial literacy program. I am Smart Uzechi, but you can call me Captain Smart. Today on the program, my guest is Musa Bagudu, CFA. Musa is the head of Quantitative Analysis and Compliance Monitoring Office in the Reserve Management Department of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, with risk management and compliance oversight on Nigeria's external reserves investments. Before then, he was head of External Funds Management Office with the oversight of the bank's external assets managers. He holds an MBA from Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, and a first degree in accountancy from the University of Maiduguri. He's a CFA charter holder, Chartered Alternative Investment Analyst, and a fellow of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria. He also holds a certificate in investment performance measurement from the CFA Institute, Charlottesville, Virginia in the USA. He's a training professional, FCTP, certified by Finance Accreditation Agency, FAA Malaysia. He's an active volunteer with CFA Society Nigeria, where he's a member of the Board of Governors, currently serving as the General Secretary. And we're going to be discussing this evening dispute resolution and protection mechanisms for bank customers. Once again, dispute resolution and protection mechanisms for bank customers is our subject of discussion this evening. But first, let's make welcome our guest, Musa Bagudu, CFA. Musa, good evening to you and thank you so much for joining us on Money Talks today.
Thank you, Captain Smart. It's good for me to be here and thank you for hosting me. I want to also say a sincere appreciation to all our audience for following this program consistently. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Musa. We are so glad to have you. For the audience there, you can participate by calling us on the telephone in case you have any questions to ask. I mean, it's not every day you have someone of Musa's status join us on the program. This is what CFA and the Money Talks are about. We bring you the best of personalities fit for purpose to deal with the issues, and that's what they have done again today. So if you have any questions around dispute resolution and protection mechanisms for bank customers, there's hardly any Nigerian who is not a bank customer. You're welcome to call us on the telephone 0700 923 923 923. That's 0700 923 923 923. Or you can actually send us a message on WhatsApp 0817 313 6193. That's 0817 313 6193. Or better still, you can call the number 0814 0000 923. And Musa will be taking your questions and also listening for everything you have to say about this topic tonight. So Musa, let's get started quickly. There are millions of bank accounts in Nigeria, anywhere between 151 to 200 million of such accounts. As such, being aware of the protection mechanisms available in that space. So what is dispute resolution and consumer protection in the context of banker-customer relationships like that?
Yeah, thank you, Captain Smith. Before I start, I think it's a good time for me to push in a disclaimer. While I am a staff of the Central Bank of Nigeria, I'm not representing the Central Bank here. Whatever I'm going to say here is not on behalf of the Central Bank. I am talking in my personal capacity as someone who is interested in sharing knowledge, right? And then it's good also, Captain Smart, for me to start by talking about who a bank customer actually is, so that our customers will have that in perspective. I'm coming to the question later. A bank customer, we see a bank customer as a person or an entity that uses or has used or a potential user of financial product or service of an institution. So generally, any person who has a legal relationship, and then this legal relationship is usually expressed in terms of maintaining an account. So if you have an account with a bank, it's regarded as a customer of the bank. Sometimes, because when we say you must have accounts, sometimes there are other circumstances that can make you a customer of the bank. And those ones can be, for instance, where a person just subscribe to or enjoy the service of a bank for a consideration that he has paid. This kind of thing can be regarded as a customer. This kind of person can be regarded as a customer. So I've laid the background of who a customer is. So I think it's also good to now hit your question. But then in Hausa, Captain Smart, I'm from the northern part of the country. So in Hausa, we have this proverb that says, Zo mu zauna, zo mu saba. Meaning, if I invite you to come and stay with me, it's like an invitation for us to have some misunderstanding.
Na gane, ni ma ina jin Hausa, na gane. Good
work at this one. You understand that kind of discussion, Bo?
Yes.
Yeah. So that for every relationship there is bound to be dispute or expression of dissatisfaction, a conflict will come in. So to the question, actually, dispute resolution is what ensures that when those dissatisfaction or conflict occurs, it is actually resolved. So in terms of consumer protection, we look at it in bankers' customer relationship. We say consumer protection is like the practice of safeguarding the customer from financial services. Safeguarding the consumer of financial services, the customer of a financial services company from unfair, exploitative, unethical, and some, some predatory practices by these financial institutions. So these kind of practices that tend to undermine consumer confidence in the use of a financial products and services is what the consumer protection is. The consumer protection is all about. So it can include ensuring that access to complaints and redress mechanisms are available, they are free, fair, they are timely, they are accessible. They help the consumer to provide to give confidence to the system. I think that is in general what consumer protection is all about: protecting the customer against unfair and unethical treatment by the financial institutions, Captain.
All right, that's very elaborate right there. Thank you so much, Musa. So moving forward, in a banking relationship between the institution and the customer, what would you say are the rights and obligations of each party, especially when there's a loan in the mix, because money has exchanged hands, other people's money? So what do you have to say to that?
Yeah, Captain, this is a very, very important part, right? For every transaction, we always say that the customer is king. If the customer is king, of course, the customer will have to be given some right. But then at the same time, a king will also have his own duties. So here I will give us the right of the customer. I will also talk about the of the customer, because it's now the right of the bank. So let's start by looking at the right of the customer. The first right is what we call the right to be informed. As a customer of the bank, you have the right to a complete disclosure of information. The bank must say it all to you. There is no hiding of information. So the bank must provide you explanation, or if you want to sign a contract, they must explain everything in the contract before you sign. So this right is right to full and complete information. That is one. The second one is the right to choose. This right to choose is the right to select among their various products and services. For example, there will be a current account, there will be a savings account, there will be a check, there will be anything. You have to say that you want this particular thing. You are the one that will say, this is what I want. The bank cannot throw on you everything that they just want to throw on. Let me give you an instance in this case. The bank cannot just automatically renew your ATM card if you don't say that you want an ATM card. The bank is not supposed to just give you any product without you making that choice of the product. The third one, is the right to safety. Here is that the bank will have to guarantee the customers a very secure and a kind of conducive banking environment. So all the threat to safety and health needs to be checked. So in this case, if you are going to a bank, you have to feel protected. That is what that says. And then we have another right. The fourth one is the right to privacy and confidentiality. Bank not supposed to give information to anybody in your account. Nobody. Bank is not supposed to disclose anything, not to a spouse, not to anybody. There are two conditions that can make the bank to disclose information. Is where, one, the bank is required by law to make that disclosure. If now law say you must disclose, that one the bank will disclose. The second one is where the customer on his own that instruct the bank and say, I have consented, I have agreed, give these people this information. That is another. So bank not supposed to release confidential information. The fifth one also, the right to redress. You have the right to redress as a customer of the bank. The bank must put in a redress mechanism so that if you have a problem, there must be an efficient complaint system where you can lodge your complaint and the bank will listen to you and resolve it. This must be in place. Where you are not satisfied, of course, you have the right to go back to your bank or even take it to the CBN, or you can even go to court. The sixth one is the right to good service. As a customer, you have the right to the value for your money, right? What we say, value for your money. The value for your money in this case is for you to have customer satisfaction. So if the service they are not giving you is not good for you, you need to make complaints. So you have the right to good service. Now, another one is the right to equality. As a customer of the bank, you are supposed to be treated equally. It doesn't matter your financial standing or deposit balance. It doesn't matter your physical ability, your age, your gender, your ethnicity, your tribe, religion. No, it doesn't matter. The bank is supposed to treat all their customers equally. However, I just know that when I say that, banks also they may decide to differentiate customers on account of, say, the product they purchase or subscribe to. So that is one. So those ones, they are different. This is based on the product. Now, the last one in terms of the right is the right to free monthly statement. The bank is supposed to give you a free monthly statement, and this is what the revised guide to bank charges said. So the bank is supposed to give you this as free. However, I would need to make this clarification. When you go to a bank and request this statement that we are saying is free is a monthly statement. But when you go to a bank and make a request, say for example you want to go to embassy and you say they should give you a statement, the bank will charge you. No, it's not going to be free now. The bank will charge you, and according to the bank guide circular, 15 naira per page. At least there will be a charges for those transactions. So that one, the bank will charge. Now, what I've just said are the right of the customer. So if you are a king, you say that you are a king, the king must have duties. And now I want to talk about the duties of the customer, and this will be right of the bank from the customer. One is that the customer has a duty of knowledge and understanding. So in this case, you as a customer, you need to work on your own side, understand what the relationship is between you and your customer. This is what we call shine your eyes. When you are dealing with the bank, we say, please, shine your eyes. Look at it. So it's your duty to shine your eyes. The second one is duty of financial obligation. If you collect money from bank, please, it's a duty that you must pay what you have collected and pay the interest on it. This is one of the major areas of responsibility, and you should not fail. It's not only the bank that will hold responsible. You also have a duty to pay. Then the duty to protect instruments and information. So the bank is giving you instruments like the ATM, like your checkbook, like your PIN, your password, your code. It is your duty, please, for you to keep these things safe. Keep it. Safety just means it's not just about theft, preventing it from being stolen. it is also about negligently giving out this vital information to other people who are not supposed to have that information. So please, that is very important. Then also there is a duty to provide factual information and not to mislead the bank. So as a customer, you own the bank and even the society, because it's all of us, to provide factual information about yourself and where necessary about the relevant transactions that you are entering. So if a bank is asking you of the things to fill in the form and all those things, you are to provide the correct information. Don't mislead the bank. Then there's duty to report suspected fraud or error. When there is a fraud, your account is compromised or there's a fraud, whether in your account or in respect of an information that you are aware of, you are duty bound to report that to your bank immediately you discover it. Please just remember, it is not just about it is not just credit that comes to your account. Debit that comes to your account that you say you are going to be reporting fraud. Even if a credit comes into your account, please go and report so that you get it sorted. Then the last one in terms of duty is duty of personal safety and safety of assets. This is one of the duties of the bank. It's also a duty that is shared. It's a right and it's also a duty. The bank are required to discharge their obligation by providing that safety laws and safety things that are available in the bank. But you too, you own also a duty of personal safety when you are in the bank. You don't go to the bank and take serious risks to endanger your life within the bank. So you too, please take care of yourself within the bank, and it's also a duty for you. So we cannot stress all these things. There are so many things, but I'm saying that these are the duties that we have to keep to our rights and duties, and then everything will go on well.
Wow.
Taking a long time, right?
That's a lot. That's a lot of information.
Yeah, you ask for duties, so you get it.
That's a lot of. But some people will say, Musa is in dreamland, though. Are you saying that all bank customers are treated the same? When you enter some banks, you see there's a special seat. The manager can come and take some people to his office. In fact, it's a branch manager that will come and collect money from the teller to go and give the customer when other people are waiting. Is Musa saying that everybody is treated equally? Well, that will be a debate for another day. But Musa, now, listening to how you're talking, it looks like, everything is rosy. There's no problem. You said earlier that, sometimes disputes will arise. When this dispute now arises, what are the ways by which they can be resolved? Because you're looking at an individual having a dispute with a bank, a big institution as a bank. When he goes there, sometimes he can even be intimidated by the way the bankers are dressed, and there are many, is him against them. So how do you resolve this matter? And the customer can also seek protection, or even the bank seek redress, because the truth is that either party can be aggrieved. Even the customer can offend the bank.
Yeah, that's a very good one, and I know are ready for this one, because like almost everybody will have one thing or the other to talk about the bank. So what the central bank did is that they provided what we call the complaint management system. So it provides guidance on how and where you can lodge your complaint. This is actually related to financial institutions that are regulated by the Central Bank of Nigeria, such as the commercial banks. It can be microfinance bank, primary mortgage institutions. It can also be discount houses if we have discount houses. All those ones that are regulated by the central bank. This is the way you manage your complaint. So I'm saying all these are audience that are listening to us now. Please take your biro, because sometimes at a certain stage I'm going to be not a number, but giving you an email address so you can put it down. So this is how the process starts. First, there's a problem. So what you do, according to the circular we issued, we said every bank will have to have a complaint desk. So the first thing is contact your financial institution first. So if there is a problem, you have to go to your commercial bank or your financial institution to report the complaint. You report the complaint. at a place where the issue originated, right? And then allow like 2 weeks. So in some banks, it can even be less than 2 weeks, but allow 2 weeks for the issue to be resolved, right? Now, if your bank fails to resolve your complaint, so you have lodged your complaint and still the bank did not resolve your complaint within those 2 weeks that we said you should look for, you have the right now to escalate this complaint to the Consumer Protection Department of the Central Bank of Nigeria, right? So you have lodged your complaint, then 2 weeks, you waited, nothing, no resolution. Pass the complaint to the bank. How do you do that? You can, but remember, you can only direct this complaint to Consumer Protection Department after 2 weeks timeline that is given. So how do you do that? You can contact the Consumer Protection Department through these channels I'm going to be mentioning. One, through the email. You can send an email for those people who use, if you have smartphone, you should be able to get an email. So if you have email, it is to cpd@cbn.gov. So it's gov.ng. I want to check that again, Captain, if you allow me.
Yes, please go ahead.
All right. So it is cpd@cbn.gov.ng. Now, this is the email part. You can just send an email and it is faster when you send an email. But then you also have another one, because sometimes it's not we know it's not everybody that will have email. So you can actually write to a letter to Director. So address your letter to Director, Consumer Protection Department, Central Bank of Nigeria, Central Business District, Abuja. Director, Consumer Protection Department, Central Bank of Nigeria, Central Business District, Abuja. Your letter of complaint that you address to the director will come to the director. You can submit the letter at the CBN head office, or you can actually submit the letter at any of the CBN branches nationwide. And the CBN has branch everywhere in the state capitals. So you can submit your complaint.
Wow.
So there's another thing, Captain Smile. You didn't ask me, but I want to say how to write a letter of complaint, because most people, they just write a letter or email. They may not know the deeper ingredients, what are required in the letter. So the letter might not be treated because there are other ingredients that are missing. The ingredient make the thing sweet, right?
Yes, so.
So if you miss those ingredients, nobody will want to chop the food now.
Yeah.
They will just leave it for you there. So the complaint letter should contain these things. One, there must be the name, address, your contact phone number, email of the complainant. So you as a complainant have your name, have your address, have your contact phone number, and then have an email if you have. So those ones will be there. Then the name of your financial institution. So which bank are you dealing with? Which bank are you complaining against? Give us that one. Then also we'll need your personal banking details. Do not include PIN and passwords, please. Personal banking detail will be your name, as in your account name, your account number. Those are the things that we call personal banking detail. What kind of account are you talking about? Is it current account, savings account? Those kind of detail you need to state. Then also you need to state the history or date of the transaction. So what is the issue? You need to tell us when was the transaction, what is the issue. Then also make sure if it is on amount, specify how much you are complaining, how much are you claiming. Then if there are information, attach relevant document that will support your claim, debit alert, debit things, all those other documents that you need. The evidence that will show that you also have already lodged this complaint in the commercial bank is very important. So, we said it has to be 2 weeks after you lodge. So we need also the evidence that shows that yes, you have shown this thing to the commercial banks before. So if you do this, I think you are okay. If you are not fine with what I just listed, it's not still clear to you, you can visit any of the financial institutions or even the CBN offices nationwide to get details. So I hope this will provide some clarity, and we guide our customers on what to say.
Wow.
Captain?
Thank you so much, Musa. You see, this is not going to end, in just a session, because we just have like 3 minutes to end this particular session, and we just barely started. So I'm going to make an appeal both to you and to the CFA Society. You have to come our phone lines are ringing here, but we cannot take calls now because the time is almost up, so that you can answer questions, because when it has to do with banks and banking transactions, I can assure you, every Nigerian has one complaint or the other. So we're going to have to schedule another time. Maybe if next week, I don't know how it will be, because there are lots of questions here which we cannot go into now because you won't have time to take them. Nigerians think that once you have a problem with a bank, like you mentioned, a Nigerian artist did a song and he said, "Who go pay?" When there's a problem in my account and I have to wait for 2 weeks, I have to wait for 3 weeks, before my money is reversed and all of that. These things have implications. What if that's my last card? Somebody's asking me here, what if that's the last money I have and I have to wait for 2 weeks, I have to wait for 3 weeks before that money gets credited back into my account? I mean, who go pay? Just as we go, Musa, in 1 minute, if you can take that.
We'll clarify those things.
Exactly.
We need to clarify.
We need to clarify. So, Musa Bagudu, I would like to thank you so much for your time. Although I'm making an appeal now, it's openly, I'm making it on air. You really have to come back maybe next week to take questions because they are lining up here. But we must thank you, Musa Bagudu. CFA is the head of Quantitative Analysis and Compliance Monitoring Office in the Reserve Management Department of the Central Bank of Nigeria. And he's been our guest on the program this evening. It's quite an education. I've learned a lot, and yes, in fact, I've gotten a message now. It's been approved, Musa. It's been approved that you'll be back next week. Yemi Ajagu has approved it. So you're coming back next week, so you can take questions, because we have 2 questions left. Then I'm sure Nigerians are waiting to ask you questions. So, Musa, thank you very much for your time on the program this evening, and we will wait for you. As Hausa people will say, Gafili Gadoki. So we are ready to ride.
That's correct. Thank you for having me. Thank you to our Captain Smart.
Okay, Musa, thank you very much for your time.
Enjoy your thank evening. You to our audience.
Now
go, James. Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye. That's our show this evening. Musa Bagudu has been our guest. You join us again next week for a fresh package. It's going to be loaded. Then Musa can take your questions. Till that time, have a very good evening. Thank you for joining us on this episode of Money Talks, hosted by the CFA Society Nigeria. Stay connected with us on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, X, and YouTube at CFA Society Nigeria. Follow us for more financial insight and update. Keep a date with us next time.